I was actually brought up at the beginning of the conception of the animal shelter here in Humboldt County. Because of my previous experience in working in shelters, supervising shelters, writing policies and procedures, construction of shelters. So I was actually hired and brought up at that time to give my 2 cents worth in the construction of this shelter. This December, we are 12 years old, and at the time that the shelter was built, all of the stray animals were taken to Sequoia Humane Society in Eureka. When you deal with stray animals, you have euthanasia. Unfortunately, it's just a fact. You get in sick, you get in aggressive animals, you can't adopt them out, they need to be put down.
Well, this has a very long history of an organization, but I like to start with 2005 when it separated from the Humboldt County. It was part of Humboldt County. Then it separated and it became a no-kill shelter. It is a nonprofit private organization that doesn't get any government funding. It only gets funding through fundraisers, donations, and contributions. The community. We are a community organization, and that's where our funds come through.
Now, to qualify as a no-kill shelter, that means you do not euthanize on the premises. Well, we do euthanize here, so we do not qualify as a no-kill, and therefore there's no grant money. We are government-funded tax dollars. Everybody puts their head together and tries to come up with creative ways to keep from having to euthanize adoptable animals. Knock on wood, we have successfully come up with creative ideas and gotten help from rescue groups to get our numbers back down to the point to where we have not euthanized an adoptable animal since we've opened.
We try and help Humboldt County when we can. If we can take in some of their animals, we have, and we do. Well, we work with them. We also take in people who have to surrender their dogs or cats for some reason. Loss of home, someone's passed away, illness, and all of those tragedies. If you suddenly lose work or something and you have funding issues, there are organizations out there that try and help. We had at one point a grant that was helping for that. We don't have that. We just have a grant now for spay and neuter vouchers that we can help with, but we're working towards getting funding for that too. Because sometimes when you lose a job, it's like anything, you just need a little help on their way. And that's kind of what we're looking at.
The end of trim season yields many strays, but more pets go missing during the holidays than at any other time of the year due to weather, vacation plans, and festivities. Sounds like fireworks and thunder will frighten pets, and if they are not properly contained, they run. Fortunately, many are picked up and brought to the Humboldt Animal Shelter. The county shelter does not take owner surrenders, which allows for many animals to be dumped or abandoned. The shelter's major crisis is overcrowding. Their worry lies in having to put down adoptable animals because of the lack of occupancy. An average of over 900 dogs and 300 cats come through every year, and some will remain there for a year or more. Unfortunately, it is a fact that euthanasia occurs out of necessity. However, the Humboldt Animal Shelter prides itself on having an extremely low euthanasia rate. Even as their funding is threatened, it still holds a survival rate at 96%.
There was one particular dog that I think everybody here, without exception, loved this dog. Sweetheart, older dog, about 12, 13 years old, and all of a sudden she just quit eating. We'd had her here for several months. We actually had her up for adoption. And we took her in and had x-rays done, and it turned out that she had a large mass, a tumor, in her abdomen. And it was inoperable, so there was no saving her. But after having her here for that long, and all of us walking her, giving her treats, it just broke everybody's heart when we had to eventually, she started to be in so much pain, she was better off being put down. And we did have to put her down, but we gave her the best in couple of days that we could before that happened. but it was hard because I particularly like that dog. I was considering giving her her last remaining years at my house, and I almost cried.
Due to the lack of county resources and the high influx of animals, some are transferred to the Sequoia Humane Society, where staff and volunteers are committed to finding good homes for these pets. Luckily, the Sequoia Humane Society also offers the option to accept animals from owners who can no longer care for them for a surrender fee.
I'd like to tell you the story about Cattle Ellie, who was here for 4.5 years. And then one day we ran an article about Cattle Ellie and how she'd come here as a little kitten. She had some medical issues. She came 4.5 years. And a couple, after reading that story, came here and said, "We don't care what Cattle Ellie's like. We don't care if she wants to be our friend. She just deserves a home." They adopted her, and she went, and it's been glorious. She's become a love bug. She sits on their laps. It's just one happy family.